Can you guess what car I'm working on today? Yeah, you guessed it. My 2000 Honda Civic. I got a little leak in the oil pan, which I'm tired of cleaning up every single time I do a oil change. So I think today's the day I'm gonna start. Ooh, I'm stuck. Removing it, so I could maybe clean up the gasket. Maybe put some gasket sealer, and let's go from there. So you don't want to jack your car up. I already have it on run-on ramps, or whatever you want to call it, roll-on ramps. I put a big chalk on the back so this doesn't roll back on me. I pulled the e-brake, so please, safety first. Alright, so obviously the oil pan is underneath the car, so that's where we're going to be right now. As you can tell, it's wet. I've checked everything. I've looked up top at the distributor. I've looked at the valve cover gaskets. Probably the main seal is leaking too. It's the transmission, but all that wetness is on this side, right there. So, oh, there we go. You see that drop right there? So let's start with the exhaust. Alright, so on this car also I had to remove the cat because it was cracked. This is a common Honda Civic issue. Now if you notice here, there's no cat connected to this pipe. So in my other video, I'm going to try either to put a link in the description or in the video, or maybe even just add it on to this video. So the cat is connected to this pipe right here. This is like a, I don't even know what you call this pipe. Intermediate pipe, test pipe, A pipe, B pipe, I don't know. But it's underneath the oil pan, and it runs basically the length of the engine up to this point, and that's the rest of the exhaust. So this is gonna have to come off. So to get it off the cat, you got 3 bolts. Actually 3 nuts. One that went here, here, and here. Let me show you that on the cat. Alright, that's the bottom of the cat. You see 1, 2, 3. You don't have to take the cat out, but I'm just trying to show you where the studs would be. So it's right there. Alright, so back to underneath. Alright, fighting with the space over here. Alright, so why am I zooming in? Don't zoom in. Alright, once you've unbolted the front over here, you're gonna have to take off the little spring bolts over here. This is an aftermarket exhaust, so I don't know if this size will be the same as yours, but the front over here is a 12mm socket, and the back side over here is a 14. So I'm gonna loosen these up and take it off. Alright, so now that you've unbolted those 2 bolts over here, see how it's loose? Word of advice, wear some safety glasses because you don't want it getting in your eye. Try not to destroy this little donut over here because that's what gives it a good seal. Alright, so now let me try and reach over here. There's these 2 bolts, these 2 nuts that hold the pipe to this bracket, if you could see that. But look how corroded these nuts are. That's probably not ever going to come off, or probably going to have to cut them or get a new nut and bolt or some situation like that. So if you could tell, this bracket, where are we? Alright, this bracket is bolted on to the engine right there. I already started loosening one right up there and right up there, so there's 2 of them. We're gonna start loosening those up. They should be 14s or 12s, but I can't hold the camera while I do this at the same time, so you're gonna have to trust me on that. Alright, so now the bolts are out. The bolts are out up there, so now I'm just gonna wiggle this thing out. You can see the bracket that's up there. Let's get on this side. Oh crap, this sucks. Oh, I need a lift. Someone buy me a lift. Or sponsor me a lift or something. Please come out. Alright, I'm gonna try and wrestle this thing out. What happened? What happened? There you go. So watch all the rust. See, it's underneath that other bracket. So watch all the rust that's gonna be coming down. There it is. Oh, sheesh. Sorry for being so sloppy. Alright. But that's the bracket. That's the whole pipe. One thing to check, I've noticed on mine, looks like there might be a little hole over here. I hope that's not. Where's the inside of that? Let me see how that looks. I'm gonna have to put like maybe some light through there, or maybe like a cup of water, see if it drips out. If not, I might have to get that welded. Alright, next up is this transmission. Let me see. We really gotta move that. Yeah. Alright, so you got this transmission cross brace right here. It ties into the top of the engine. So this bolt right here. This other bolt right there. And right there. So that's easy. That's a quick one. We'll start removing those. Okay, so the little bolt over here on the bracket is a 12. We're gonna remove that one. Got my 12 right here. Oh, come on. Get that out the way. And the other one is back here. Alright. And this one here is a 14. Let's switch that up. Now, I have not drained the oil yet, because what happens if none of these bolts come out? So now you just wasted oil that you could have used or kept in your engine to go to a shop if something major happened. Mother effer, come on. I can't put this in with one hand. Give me a second. Alright, here we go. It's freaking dirty as hell. Okay. Alright, that's out. Next bracket right here. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna have to take that off and support it so it does not strip while I'm taking it out. Let's see if we can show that. Come on, you camera. There we go. So you support it and you finish taking it out. Don't mind the zip tie. The plastic cover kept kept scraping the ground, so I zip tied it so it could stop making noise. Alright, this is your transmission cover, or bracket, sorry. Just make sure you keep those bolts to the side. Alright. Whatever, I'll keep it to the side. Now, you're going to want to drain your oil. That's the easy part. It's just a simple 17 millimeter. Alright, now we're going to drain the oil. If you're wondering what this is a magnet that I put to catch the like, you know, little tiny sediments that are stuck in the oil. You know, you could put it in the filter, you could put it in the oil pan. Let me put it on this plug and see if I catch anything. Let's see what happens. Come on. No, it's not gonna work. Actually, let me put it in the oil pan, see if it catches anything. There we go. Alright, and before you do the oil pan, you don't want to let your car sit for a couple of hours, or else you're gonna have oil dripping for a long time. Because obviously all the oil drips from the top downward. So this has been sitting for at least a day or two, because I've been working on this thing on and off. Alright, so we're gonna hurry up and watch it drain. Next we're gonna start unbolting it. Alright, so I covered I put the oil drain plug back in. Next, you're gonna want to clean the surrounding surface of the oil pan. You really don't want this grease and stuff kind of just staying, because if you see, it's not just on the oil pan, it's on, you know, the engine and stuff. So when you go to put it back on, you don't want that dirt getting inside. So we're gonna clean that up. You just need a good degreaser. Whoop. And also on top of the engine, you can see all the crud that's built up right there. I'm gonna clean that up. You could use any kind of degreaser. I mean, brake cleaner works the best. Just make sure you're in a well ventilated area. Removes grease and oil. This is Honda Bright. This is kind of just the engine degreaser. So you could use whatever you want. You got a brush ready to clean it off. You got some rags. You're gonna want to put some mats down if you don't want to dirty your driveway. So I'm just gonna start cleaning that up. Then I'll start unbolting it. So a little bit of scrubbing. Scrub it down, scrub it down. And you're gonna go crazy, but just get most of the big stuff off. I mean, this has been leaking for a while, so I mean, I got a little bit of work ahead of me. Alright, you want to do that there. Get a little bit down there too. Clean all that crap off. I mean, I'm just tired of having all this oil around here every time I look at the engine bay. That's just me. Alright, so I'm gonna keep going at this a little bit. And like I said, I'm gonna clean the after this I'm gonna unbolt everything. Alright, now we're gonna start removing all the bolts. It should be all the same length. I'm not gonna take off every single one because there's probably about 15 of them or so. Just want to show you. See these little ones, so just be careful. You got a couple nuts over here too, right there. Just take your time, take them out. I got myself a little bucket. This will come out. See a little bucket right here? Whatever, a little cup. Yeah, it's gonna be a while. So, yeah, just take them all out. See, they're all about the same. All right. One other thing I forgot to mention, you got this little transmission shield cover thing. This needs to come off because you got a nut hidden up there. And another one. Where are you? Come on. You got another one hidden right there. You can just see that. Right there. So you gotta remove this cover right here. That's the 10, and you already got the big one off. You already got the big one off, and the 10 right here, and one more up here. Hope you can see that. It's just a hard spot to really show. All right. So now that most of the bolts are off. Alright, now I'm going to try and wedge it off. I got one of the bolts still on just to hold it while I'm trying to get a little pry bar in here and wiggle it off. Let me see if I can get it up here. Where are we at? Let's see if that works. Like I said, it sucks to move and film at the same time, but you just kind of want to get in a corner somewhere. Alright, I'll be back because I can't do this at the same time. Let me see. Oh, there we go. It's starting to come off here. Let's see. Alright. Okay, I'll come back. Alright, so what I did was, in this corner right here, I stuck a pry bar. Let me show you. And I wedged it between the engine and the oil pan, and I slowly pushed down, and that between like the gasket, and that started to move right there. And then over here, towards the back, so flat, like a flat screwdriver, and started kind of digging it into here, gently. See how it's moving now? Gently pushing in. You don't want to, damage the aluminum on the engine, but you see how it cracked the seal? See, I could get inside now. The only thing holding up this now is the two nuts that I left on there. Let's see how well this will catch it. Where are we? Alright. Gonna take this off here. Hopefully this doesn't fall on me. stuck in the gasket. Alright, that one's out. And this is the one on the stud. Alright, actually should come out now. Be careful if you have any oil left over in it. Alrighty, there she is. Oh, crap. No, I'm stuck. Okay. Well, there's the oil pan. Finally. That's it right there. That is the pickup. And I just kind of want to inspect this, see how this looks underneath. Pistons look pretty. I mean, the crankshaft looks pretty clean. That's the pickup right there. That's the front of the crank. All in all, don't look too bad. That's the dipstick right there. Pretty impressive. Now I'm gonna pull it out and remove the gasket. Okay, so I don't know if this is the gasket or not, or I mean the original gasket. Feels like it's almost the original. Technically what you're supposed to do is remove this whole gasket, clean up the surface, make sure there's no dirt on it, and along these four corners right here you put some Honda bond or some, you know, silicone right there. If you look online, there's a lot of forums that tell you how to do it. Eesh, this gasket is on there. Who knows if it's the original now? I gotta kind of inspect it, but it feels like it might be the original. 116,000 miles. But yeah, this is how you remove it. I'm not sure if I could have time to make how do you install one. I don't even have a new one yet. I just kind of want to get this off. So let's see what happens. I hope this helped. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this wasn't too bad. It just sucks that I don't have a lift to kind of get up underneath. Alright, so I'm gonna take this off. Alright, so what I'm doing now is with a clean rag and some brake cleaner or some degreaser, just going around the edge. I'm inspecting it, making sure there's no damage to it. There's no residue of the old gasket. If you do, you should scrape it off. If you want a clean mating surface on here, you go all the way around. And you're gonna want to do the same thing I'm doing here to the bottom of the engine block. If you do have some residue of some gasket, a little bit of Scotch-Brite, not too rough. You don't want to take metal off, you just want to get some of the residue off, like I said. And obviously crap is going to fall inside here. I don't know if you can see, but I got some of the gasket in there. So once I get it all together and I let the Honda bond or the gasket sealer or maker dry, I'll put like maybe half a quart of oil and then drain that out just to get the stuff that's in here out. So now I'm gonna go underneath and clean that off. Right, so this is the part number for the oil pan gasket. This will fit 96 to 05, I think. Now when you're fitting this, both sides aren't the same, so you got to make sure you got the right side. And you got these little dowels, which are like these little tiny pins, which is what's holding them in. Oh, and before I forget, I saw on the instructions, not really sure, it's not really clear. When I took the oil pan off, there was some Honda bond on these four corners. This is where the crank goes, underneath here. And there was also some here and on the block itself, right where the crease meets. So I went online to the forums and they don't really specify, but this is the old one right here. And if you can see, there's Honda bond here and Honda bond underneath, which is a liquid gasket is what you want to call it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put some right on top of here and right underneath each spot, and I'll show you that right after. The almighty Honda bond. Oh yeah. Just if you don't have this, just use a liquid gasket that's oil resistant, because oil will eat up the silicone if it's not oil resistant. So now I'm going to put on all four corners. Now this doesn't dry right away, so you got some playtime with this. Just want to make sure you don't take your sweet time, but alright, now I'm going to do the other side. Alright, now I'm going to start putting the oil pan on. This is when I wish I had an assistant or 3 arms. I gotta raise this. Now, you can't see it from there, but I put silicone on the 4 corners where you see like the kind of like the different creases of the engine, which are in the front and the front and the back of the engine. Basically the same exact spots where it meets on the oil pan and the gasket. So you're gonna want to look your stuff over one more time, make sure it's all aligned, and recheck that you got no grease or oil over here. And now we could set it up. All right. You're gonna want to line it with the studs. Alright, looks like that's on there. It's hard to do this and hold the pan at the same time. I want to try and crisscross so you could get get it to stay quicker. Some of these are full of dirt. I might have to clean them off. Yeah, that one's pretty dirty. I gotta clean that one off. Now, for example, once you get these hand tight, then you can start putting in the bolts. Alright, that should hold there. And then Honda recommends you do a 3-step process, meaning you go tighter and tighter and tighter 3 ways around, so you could evenly distribute the load across. I mean, some people say crisscross, some people say just go around. I mean, if you're compressing it all evenly and you're not overdoing it, I mean, it's up to you. I think I might just go around. Alright, so this is the last round. I'm just going to start snugging everything up. tight. I could probably go one more round. As I'm tightening everything up, it's uniformly taking the pressure, which I like. I didn't go all the way to one and all the way to the other one. Okay. So this is good. Little by little, I'm compressing the gasket. So what? Maybe you gotta do 4 or 5 passes. I don't care, but as long as this shit don't leak. See, those are still kind of loose. That one's still a little loose. Alright guys, next step is the oil filter and everything. Oh crap. And then I'm going to drain it.